My name is Robert Sutton. I am the COO of Technology Solutions, and today we are going to talk about cloud solutions versus colocation and the differences and when one would benefit over the other, or when a hybrid environment might be your druthers or might be best for your organization. So cloud computing is one of those things that really took over the marketplace by storm about 5 years ago. It started getting huge. It showed up on the market 10 years ago. 5 years ago, starts to get huge. Everybody starts saying cloud everything. Everything needs to be in the cloud. You need to go to the cloud. Cloud became the silver bullet in this hot topic buzzword. And as a result, the market started pushing for all things cloud, whether or not it was a good idea, whether or not it was the best fit for an organization. Just all things needed to be a cloud-based subscription, period, end of story. And the truth is, really what's best for your organization is fully dependent on what your organization is doing, the size of your organization, what your process workflows look like, and what your goals for success are, what your mission objectives look like. So, what are the different scenarios where these different options would come into play? Cloud is good for either really small businesses or really large businesses. If you're talking exclusively going cloud, where every single server instance you have runs in some kind of cloud instance, whether it's Azure, Amazon Web Services, Rackspace, or another player like one of those three. Everything is rendered in the cloud if you're doing 100% exclusive cloud infrastructure. Well, that makes sense. If you're a small business, you need one domain controller, one file server. You don't do a lot of large video or image editing. That's going to make sense. Put everything in the cloud. You can probably get away with that for a couple $100 a month without really raising any eyebrows, without a huge impact to your bottom line. And you've gone ahead and supplied your small business with an enterprise-grade centralized server infrastructure. Good on you. And if you're huge, you're a massive enterprise-level organization, you're looking to not have to constantly be replacing your hardware every time it cycles out of its life expectancy rate, which is going to be approximately every 3 to 5 years. And if you're a large organization that budgets infrastructure in the millions of dollars, you might be looking to avoid or offset that cost, in which case moving everything to the cloud makes sense for you. But you really only see those returns or that ROI on a massive level, which is why everybody else, which is going to be the vast majority of businesses that fall in that in-between space, the medium and moderate sized businesses, you're looking at more of a hybrid solution, honestly, than a full-on cloud solution. Or a cloud solution may not necessarily be the best solution for you. Colo, or colocation, or data centers where you can take your metal that you own and place it in a hardened location with redundant internet lines, redundant power, and with hardened capabilities to be able to withstand extreme conditions and emergency situations and things of that nature. That gets you the peace of mind of a hardened facility that you may not be able to afford for your physical server hardware that you own. That gets you security that you don't necessarily have the funds to be able to provide for physical access to your server. So locking down that server with physical access, like biometrics access, or being able to ensure who has physical access to the server through multiple protocols that can be audited and tracked regularly. You may not have what you need or be able to afford the tools you need to be able to implement that kind of security, which is important if you need to be SOC compliant or you have other compulsory requirements that you need to meet. So co-location can be very advantageous in that sense, especially considering the fact that the cost of ownership of hardware is going to be significantly less than the monthly subscription rate needed to have servers hosted in the cloud if you are of a moderate size at all. Another thing that you can get away with if you are a moderate sized business, because trying to decide whether or not you should do cloud services or whether or not you should do co-location services, You don't have to fit into either one of those boxes. You can have both, and that would be the hybrid solution. And that's what most companies are going to end up actually trending towards, whether they realize it or not, because it's not a one-size-fits-all. Everybody has different needs. They have different business requirements and process workflows. So what you're really looking at most of the time, what's best for most organizations is going to be a combination of both of those things. Some metal hosted in a Colo. Say you're an imaging or advertising company. You make a ton of high definition videos and you have a ton of high definition graphics. Well, that is a lot of file traffic that's moving back and forth across your LAN. Maybe not something that you really want to be doing in a cloud hosted environment. It's something that's not going to be performant at a good cost or at a good price point. You would want to go ahead and place a physical server either on-prem or in a Colo data center where it's more secure, and then maybe use cloud services for something like your domain controller. While your file server has to be this massive beast because you have these huge files. If you do AutoCAD drawings or anything with large files, you're going to want to have some kind of physical server infrastructure for handling those files and transfer of files. Because the second you start doing it in the cloud, storage starts to get really expensive, and that's where you'll get hit in your wallet. So not always the best option to just go straight to the cloud. Sometimes in the Colo, not always the best option to just do exclusively that. What we find happens most frequently, or what tends to benefit most organizations, is a combination of the two, or hybrid. And I think you'll probably see that creeping up a lot more in the marketplace over the coming years as people start to trend more and more towards that and start to realize that there is no silver or magic bullet, but there is a combination of good tools and good approaches and good standards to achieve specific objectives. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on co-locations, hybrid solutions, and cloud solutions. What makes sense, what doesn't make sense, and some of the misnomers and misleading information that might be